You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the brother of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is in hot water after he allegedly assaulted the owner of an Overland Park restaurant.
Also, 2 Kansas men are arrested for selling tech to Russia.
And we've got a very nice day today, albeit a bit cloudy, but there are some pretty big changes coming to our forecast. We're going to take a complete look at that and so much more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Carrie Worthen. A head-on collision with a pickup truck takes the life of a Aurora man. Deputies responded to a call concerning an injury accident in the area of Business 60 and Highland Drive in Aurora at around 4:15 Saturday afternoon. Authorities say Timothy Rhodes, age 62, of Aurora, Missouri, was traveling west on Business 60 when he was entered an oncoming lane of traffic and struck a pickup head-on. Both vehicles sustained extensive damage. The driver of the pickup suffered moderate injuries. Rhodes succumbed to his injuries at the scene. A Carthage man suffered serious injuries when his SUV crashed onto I-49. Carthage Fire Department, Mercy Ambulance, and Jasper County deputies responded to reports of a single vehicle crash along I-49 south near I-44 westbound ramp. Authorities say a Dodge Journey traveling east on the outer road of Cimarron Road left the road and struck some large cedar trees as it went down the hill and came to a rest on the right shoulder of I-49. Troopers say the driver sustained serious injuries. The driver was arrested for felony DWI and felony driving while revoked.
And we've got ourselves another mild start and another mild day for us before things begin to change. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking pretty good so far. Still mostly cloudy in Joplin as the sun comes up. 63 and with a south-southwest breeze at 20, gusting to 33. And with that southerly breeze, it's made some of us fairly mild. We're a little cooler. Yates Center, 52, 54 Parsons, 64 Miami, and 61 in Neosho. And because we had a cool start to our very gorgeous Sunday, we're upwards of 10 to 20 degrees warmer now than what we were 24 hours ago. As we get our day started, those 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts will continue through the first half of our morning. Then they'll tame themselves a bit and be 20 mile an hour gusts through the rest of today. We'll hang on to mostly cloudy skies and get into the upper 60s through the late morning. We're looking at highs today pushing about 70 degrees under those mostly cloudy skies. And our evening is going to be fairly mild to start. And then the winds will start to pick up again around 8 this evening. And then they'll shift out of the north. And that's going to allow us to drop back down to a very cool 42 degrees. So we have shower and thunderstorm chances. They're going to start to build in as we head through our Tuesday, into our Wednesday, and then again into our Thursday across the region. Now the good news is we're not talking any severe weather, but we are looking at the possibility of some heavy rain and maybe some renewed flooding concerns, especially along and south of I-44. Our temperatures also drop significantly, a 20-degree drop or so down to 52. We are in the 50s all the way through Friday. Then we get into this weekend, and as we've been saying, don't forget to set your clock forward 1 hour. You don't want to forget to do that because then you'll be late for work and everything else. And we got showers Saturday evening into Sunday morning, temperatures overnight below freezing, and high temperatures only in the 40s, and we don't do any big warming after that either. Maybe a wintry mix Monday night into Tuesday morning, and we only make it up to 49 by next Wednesday. So enjoy today while you can. Gary?
Thanks, Chris. Jackson Mahomes, the brother of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, has been accused of assaulting an Overland Park, Kansas restaurant owner. The alleged incident happened last Saturday night at Aspen's Restaurant and Lounge in Overland Park. Right now, there is a video of the incident circulating online. According to the owner, that video is in hands of the police who are aware of the situation. Repairs are underway after a Union Pacific train derailed in Sumner County, Kansas on Saturday afternoon. Union Pacific's communication department said the derailment, which happened around 5:30 p.m. in Riverdale, an unincorporated town north of Wellington, Kansas, involved around 18 train cars filled with grain. There were no reported injuries and no hazardous materials involved. Cleanup efforts are expected to take several days. Several Central High School students completed a walkout around 1 p.m. on Friday in an effort to push back against Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders' highly talked about Learns bill. Earlier last week, students at Little Rock Central were said to have wrote the governor The students felt as though Governor Sanders was utilizing the historic school to advance her agenda. In response, students donned several signs at Friday's walkout. Despite pushback from the students at Little Rock Central, education leaders, and even fellow politicians, the governor has shared her continued excitement on the bill's progress. 2 U.S. citizens stand accused of sending aviation technology to Russia. Prosecutors say the 2 Kansas residents sold and installed Western electronic equipment for airplanes. And they also allegedly sold technology to Russia's companies and provided repair services for Russia aircraft. As Brian Johnson reports, the operation was run out of a small airport in Kansas.
These photos show police vehicles outside a hangar at the New Century Airport.
As the SWAT guys jumped out, they threw 2 to 3 flashbangs.
One witness who saw the raid asked that we not show his face. He says police got on a PA system asking everyone to exit the building. The agents were there most of the day.
It's crazy. It's a small airport, just a normal hangar, no markings.
The Justice Department says Cyril Boyanovsky of Lawrence and Douglas Robertson of Olathe owned the business. It's called Can Russ Trading Company. The 2 are charged with conspiracy, exporting controlled goods without a license, and other crimes. Court documents say they provided Western avionics equipment to Russian companies using fraudulent invoices and shipping the items through countries like Armenia and Cyprus.
What stands out is normally what's behind most criminal actions is greed. They wanted to make money, and they weren't going to let a little thing like federal law stand in their way.
Michael Tabman is retired FBI. The Justice Department says the shipments continued even after Russia invaded Ukraine last year.
You take an investigation step by step, and you have to always weigh when do we take it down to make the strongest case versus what are we risking by letting it continue.
The U.S. government detained some of the shipments.
Well done by the FBI. Good job.
This case is the most recent move by the Justice Department's task force Kleptocapture, an effort to stop money laundering and sanctions evasion in support of the Russian government. After Russia's war in the Ukraine began last year, the U.S. government imposed additional sanctions on shipments to Russia. Up next, Walgreens caves into pressure from 20 states to not sell abortion pills in them despite aborting being legal in them.
And later, Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 2 is premiering. We'll give you a sneak peek of what to expect. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, liquid albuterol has been hard to find lately, and it's about to get even harder. The drugs manufacturer Acorn shut down some of its facilities last month after filing for bankruptcy. It's the only company that made a certain bottled form of the medicine, which are used for continuous nebulizer treatment, a staple in children's hospitals. The shortage of albuterol, which is commonly used to treat people with breathing problems, has caused some issues in health facilities nationwide. Some had to delay discharging patients because they didn't have enough medicine to give them. The shortage also caused more people to check into emergency rooms because they didn't have the medicine. The FDA is looking into how the manufacturer shutdown will impact drug supply chains around the country. Experts are recommending more women have their fallopian tubes removed in an effort to cut the risk of ovarian cancer. According to the National Cancer Institute, about 20,000 women in the U.S. were diagnosed with ovarian cancer last year. More than half of those diagnosed died. The Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance says there isn't a reliable screening test to detect the early stages of ovarian cancer, which means doctors must rely on symptom awareness to diagnose patients. However, symptoms of ovarian cancer often don't present themselves until cancer has advanced, which causes the disease to go undetected and undiagnosed until it's progressed to a later stage. Walgreens says it will not distribute abortion medication to 20 states, bowing to pressure from anti-abortion lawmakers and lawsuits targeting the allegedly of abortion pills. The company said it will not dispense mifepristone, the first of 2 drugs in the medication abortion process, in 20 states after a February 1st letter from Republican attorneys general in those states. Walgreens said it will distribute the drug only in jurisdictions where it is legal and feasible. Abortion medication now accounts for a majority of abortions in the U.S. It's become a flashpoint in the fallout from the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision last year that overturned Roe v. Wade.
And we've got ourselves another fairly mild day ahead of us. We're also a bit breezy, a bit cloudy, but there's some big changes on the way. We'll take a look at all of that when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We've got ourselves a fairly cloudy start across the region, and it'll remain that way. That's ahead of some incoming rain chances that through the end of the week could drop some hefty amounts of rain, especially along into the south of Interstate 44, which could lead to some renewed flooding concerns in those areas that already saw flooding issues last week and are still saturated from last week's storms. So here's what it looks like over the next couple of days. We've got the showers and thunderstorms, a few of them, starting to develop early Tuesday morning, say about 9, 10 o'clock across southeast Kansas. Through the day, these will be confined to southeast Kansas into the early evening. Then we get a little bit of a break, and then we see additional showers and thunderstorms developing, as you can see, right along I-44, and they'll continue to roll off to the east, bringing some heavy rain with them, with more showers and even a few thunderstorms developing by Wednesday morning. And we'll get little pauses in the activity before we see additional activity late Wednesday into Thursday. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looks good. 7th and range line, as you see, we are mostly cloudy out there. 63 though in Joplin. South-southwest breeze at 20, gusting to 33. Temperatures across the area, a little cooler, Yates Center, 52, 54 Neodesha, 60 Chitopa, 64 Miami, 61 Neosho Carthage, and 59 in Nevada. However, even though it's a little cooler in some spots, we're still warmer than where we were yesterday morning, to the tune of 15 to 20 degrees warmer this morning than we were 24 hours ago. Wind gusts of 30 to 40 will persist through the early morning hours through about 9 o'clock, and then they'll taper off to about 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts by late morning as we get into the upper 60s. As we head through the day, we're looking at highs pushing right around 70 degrees, so just a pinch cooler than yesterday, but not really noticeable. We'll be breezy, we'll be mostly cloudy. This evening, our evening is mild ahead of a big change. We'll drop back through the 50s by 10 o'clock, winds increase, and then they shift out of the north, and we'll eventually drop back down to a low of 42. So let's look at that 7-day forecast. We got the rain tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then look at this, 20-degree drop in temperatures too. We're in the 50s all the way through Friday. Then Friday evening, we drop back down below freezing. We only make it to 47 by Saturday. Some evening showers turning into maybe some morning showers on Sunday. Don't forget to set your clock forward an hour. We're 47 Saturday, 41 on Sunday, and then look beyond that. We have the chance of a wintry mix late Monday into Tuesday morning, and we're only in the 40s. So we are going to get downright cool, and we're going to stay that way for the next several days. So if you have an opportunity to enjoy today, do so. Well, how do you get a beloved pet out of a narrow well? Rescuers in Minnesota were concerned how they would rescue an English Springer Spaniel who fell down an uncovered well. But this clever dog knew exactly what to do. Jonah Kaplan shows us what happened.
Yeah, pretty unconventional place to start a story in the middle of that well. But check it out. It's about 16 to 18 inches wide in diameter, so probably the size of a New York pizza. But you can see there's also pipes protruding. So this is really an incredible story for a number of reasons.
Gannicus himself wasn't up for an interview, but he also wasn't shy in front of the camera. The 60-pound English Springer Spaniel fell more than 30 feet into this well, a surprise to him and a shock to his family, who only moved here last month.
I didn't get close enough because I didn't know what it was at that time.
It was Gannicus's nonstop barking that caught the Nide family's attention. They then called the Redwood County Sheriff, who then called the local fire chief.
Well, on the way out, we were discussing what we were going to do, and we kind of joked around. And, well, I half jokingly said, well, maybe we have to put a piece of steak on a rope and drop it down there, and hopefully he'll grab onto it and pull him out.
They didn't have the stake, but they did lower rope with a hoop at the end, hoping they'd maybe catch a leg. Instead, Gannicus bit and latched on himself.
All I could see is his white teeth shining back at us.
According to state officials, more than 1 million Minnesotans rely on wells for their drinking water, but a lot of wells, well, they're not being used anymore, which is why in the 1970s, there was a law put in place requiring unused wells to be covered. The law also requiring homeowners to disclose all wells on the property, which the Nide said the previous owners didn't do, but they'll soon seal it permanently.
I couldn't imagine what would have happened. I mean, any of us could have found it on accident, so just have to get it sealed as soon as we can. And he's happy too. Okay. Oh, now you're tugging a war. Show off.
Well, Minnesota officials say homeowners in the state have 6 years to notify the previous owners of any new wells that weren't disclosed and could be entitled to get money back to cover the cost of sealing a well. We'll be right back. Well, the movie titled Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1 was kind of a joke.
But more than 40 years later, there's finally a Part 2, a streaming series with more strategical vignettes from throughout history. David Daniels has a look.
Good gravy is Harriet Tubman.
The inventor of the bathtub?
How did these dumb enslave us?
Mel Brooks and a new generation serve up satire through the centuries in History of the World Part 2.
As soon as he heard an idea, he would pitch jokes on it. I mean, that's the kind of like giving, positive, like comedian he is. And he had jokes he'd been waiting 40 years to tell, and so we put those in the show.
Anyone else with a good idea?
And it's not just him sitting back and we're doing a show for him. He's part of this show at this time when we need desperately satire and parody and history.
Who are you?
Some call me Jesus Christ, Son of God.
Some call him broken corny.
Blazing Saddles was the first film that I watched. I was like a 7-year-old kid with my dad sitting on the couch watching it, and remember just like loving how much he laughed and how much he loved it.
I'm Kublai Khan.
Amelia Earhart.
They're Romanov. I am Sigmund Freud.
I mean, I remember as a very young boy watching Blazing Saddles and watching Mongo punch a horse in the face and knock it out and thinking like, yes, whatever business this is, I want to do this.
Yep. Campfire scene, Blazing Saddles with the beans and the farting.
In our household, Robin Hood Men in Tights was the one that was always on repeat.
What ideas have you got for Shakespeare?
Spaceballs was the first movie I remember seeing in the theater in 1987. And it was as significant to me as Star Wars because it sort of tapped into a brand of comedy that would become so important to me.
It was so wonderful. I truly, truly had a phenomenal experience shooting this and being on set.
We are about to embark on the biggest campaign in the history of the world, Part 2.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It looks absolutely incredible. I'm sure it's just as good as Part 1.
It looks really funny.
Well, the 8-part series, History of the World Part 2, is now streaming on Hulu. So if you have an opportunity, check it out. And make sure if you haven't checked out the first part, watch it again. Refresh yourself if you need to. We'll be back right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:27. The city of Joplin plans to take part in statewide tornado drills this week. The city will sound the warning sirens for a full 3 minutes during the drill, the same amount of time that would occur during an actual warning. Sirens will begin at 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. The drill kicks off Severe Weather Preparedness Week from today until the 10th. The Joplin Native American Flute Circle hosted their latest musical session. The circle invites musicians of all skill levels and ages out to play in their festivities. The group hosts flute circles every month for the community to participate in.
It has a very soothing sound. When I first started getting into it, I discovered that if I had a bad day at work, came home in a grumpy mood, if I'd pick up a flute and just play for 10 or 15 minutes, the bad mood just fades away. Everything's right with the world again.
The event was held from 4 to 6 p.m. 20 members of Pittsburgh State Alpha Sigma Alpha Eta chapter prepared and served meals for families staying at Ronald McDonald House in Joplin. Other meal donors from around the 4-state area volunteered to sponsor or prepare meals for families utilizing Ronald McDonald House. Ronald McDonald House says home-cooked meals are one of the most popular services of the charity.
Just the satisfaction of just everything we do. I just love how it impacts people, especially in our community, and how I can involve other girls in our group. It's really awesome.
You can become involved with the Ronald McDonald House charities of the 4 states by visiting their website at rmhjoplin.org.
Take a look at the cloudy skies we've got. The sun trying to peek through from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, but we are mostly cloudy and we will stay that way. Now, despite that, we'll still be warm, at least for today. We're talking about rain, and we're looking at 1.5 inches, upwards of maybe even 2.5 inches, especially along and south of I-44 over the next several days, which could lead to some renewed flooding concerns across areas that already saw a hefty amount of rain over last week. Let's take a look at what we're expecting. So as we head through today, by the way, a great day today. Tomorrow, cooler. Showers, maybe some thunderstorms begin to develop by late morning Tuesday, and they'll start to roll across southeast Kansas. And for the most part, through the majority of our Tuesday, this activity will be confined to southeast Kansas. However, as we head later into the evening and into the late hours on Tuesday, more showers and thunderstorms begin to develop, and as you see, right along Interstate 44, and some of those could bring some heavy rain as we go into the overnight hours tomorrow. Then we get into Wednesday morning, more widespread showers and thunderstorms. We're not talking any severe weather, thankfully, but just some thunderstorms out there. And as we head into Wednesday afternoon, we get a pause in the activity, and then we'll see additional showers and thunderstorms as we head into our Thursday night. We're going to take a more in-depth look at your forecast and tell you how pleasant today is going to be and how much you're going to wish that we're not going to see the stuff tomorrow we're about to see here in just a few minutes.
We are hearing reaction from some people in South Carolina just days after a jury found disgraced lawyer Alex Murdaugh guilty of murdering his wife and son. Murdaugh's family, known for its generations of lawyers, has long had ties to Hampton County in the southwest part of the state, and now residents in that community are speaking out. Haley Bolin has more.
People here in the town of Hampton say they're breathing a sigh of relief after the guilty verdicts in the double murder trial of Alex Murdaugh. Now, many people here in town knew the family, and they say they feel justice was served.
The impact of the trial is sad in a lot of ways because lives have been destroyed forever.
Camille and Bob Hawks have lived in Hampton for more than 30 years, and they say they went to church with Gloria Satterfield for more than a decade. She's the Murdaugh family housekeeper who died after she tripped and fell at the family's property in 2018, according to law enforcement. The couple remembers Gloria today.
Beautiful, precious, hardworking. She was the hardest worker. She loved those boys like her own. She really did, talked about them all the time. She was always there for them. She went on vacations with them.
The case has put Hampton in national headlines, attracting tourists who made a stop in town while attending the trial in Colleton County.
It's not that we like to see tragedy, we like to see justice, and justice was performed today.
And locals saying the Murdaugh family has been the topic of town chatter for years.
It's the talk of everything. It's, everybody's Alex Murdaugh. Did he do it? Did he not do it? You know what I'm saying? Oh, look at all the evidence, and then, but if like I said, if you know the Murdaughs, this town was influenced by the Murdaughs. They could get away with whatever they wanted to at one time, but that day is over today.
However, many wish the town could be known for something else.
So I'm just hoping that we can move past that and realize that we, as a community, we have to work together to see things grow.
As for what's next for the town, locals here tell me they hope the verdicts are a chance for the town to heal and move forward after this horrible tragedy that's truly impacted the entire community.
Alex Murdaugh was sentenced to life in prison. That's a look at our top news stories coming up on this half hour of KOAM Morning News. Planning a trip to Europe? Better save a little more money because the EU plans to charge an entry fee. Plus, Chris,
and we've got ourselves a cloudy day today, but still mild. We'll take a look at what this forecast holds when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We've talked about the rain that is on its way, and it's also going to make some big changes to our temperatures, and unfortunately, it's something we're not going to immediately recover from. So today, we're looking good. The sun trying to get out. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, you can see a little more daylight, a little more sunlight, but we are still mostly cloudy, which you can see here from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. There's the sun trying to peek out from these clouds out here. Despite the fact we're going to be cloudy, it's still going to be a mild day. In fact, we're still mild now, 63 in Joplin with a south-southwest breeze at 20, gusting to 33. Across the area, that southerly breeze, you see, here around Yates Center in the extreme northwestern parts of our area, getting in on a little bit of a northerly breeze. So it's cooled down a little bit in Yates Center, down to 53. 56 Chanute, 60 Chitopa, 63 Miami, 62 Neosho, and 63 in Carthage. And that puts us, because we did have a relatively cool start to our Sunday, despite it being an absolutely beautiful Sunday, we are upwards of 10 to 15 degrees, almost 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. As we get our day started, the windiest conditions, the gustiest winds through 9 o'clock, and we're talking those gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. Then we will remain mostly cloudy. The gusts will calm down to that 20-mile-an-hour range for the rest of the day, upper 60s. By late morning, we're looking to push highs right around 70 degrees, mostly cloudy, and again, some gusts upwards of 20 miles an hour. So just a wee bit cooler than what we did yesterday, but not that big of a difference. Now, this evening, we're going to be mild to kick our evening off. And then around 8 o'clock, even though we're still mild, look at that, 57 at 8 o'clock, the wind is going to start to pick up. And as we go into the overnight, that wind will shift out of the north for all of us, and we're going to drop back down to a very cool 42 degrees. Let's talk big picture rain. Here you can see where those winds begin to shift as we head into tomorrow, and we'll start to see some of those showers and thunderstorms. The good news is no severe weather or anything, but some of these thunderstorms could pack some heavy rain, especially along and south of I-44. They'll continue through our Wednesday. We get a break Wednesday afternoon. We get more showers and thunderstorms Wednesday evening into Thursday morning and through Thursday evening. Here we are at 5 o'clock. Still some showers out there. And as we head into late Thursday, early Friday, those showers will start to clear out. However, our temperatures are going to get a swift kick to the britches and drop by about 20 degrees. And they're going to stay that way and continue to get cooler. We got the rain Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures through the 50s all the way up till Friday. Then we get into Saturday, 47, evening showers Saturday into Sunday, down to 41 for the high by next Sunday. And don't forget, spring forward. I know we don't want to, but we have to, unfortunately. Then we have that wintry mix possibility next week, Monday evening into Tuesday morning, as temperatures remain in the 40s, and we start to see those overnight lows go from relatively pleasant to below freezing heading into this weekend. So big changes on the way that we need to be prepared for. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Cloudy, mild, breezy start for us. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. We're looking good. We are mostly cloudy, as you can see. Sun trying to peek through, though. And despite a lack of sunshine, we'll still be warm today. 63 in Joplin. South-southwest breeze at 20, gusting to 33. Across the area, temperatures look like this. A little cooler Yates Center at 53, 54 Parsons, 63 Miami, Carthage, and 62 in Neosho. And because we had a cool start yesterday, that means that this morning's mild start puts us 15, almost 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. Wind gusts 30, 40 miles an hour, holding on through about 9 o'clock under mostly cloudy skies. Then they calm down a bit to the 20 mile an hour range by late morning, up to 67 by 11. We're looking at highs a little cooler than yesterday, but not by much, up to 70 today under those mostly cloudy skies. And as we head into this evening, it'll be a mild evening initially, and then around 8 o'clock, we'll start to see the winds pick up, and overnight, they're going to switch out of the north, and that's going to allow our temperatures to drop significantly back down to 42 degrees. So we're watching shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into tomorrow, and then they'll continue tomorrow evening into Wednesday. And then we get a break Wednesday afternoon, and then late Wednesday evening, more showers and more thunderstorms. Overnight into Thursday morning, throughout our day Thursday. It won't be until Thursday late night, early Friday morning that we see this kick out of here. So we are watching for heavy rain along and south of I-44 and the potential for some renewed flooding concerns down there where the ground is already saturated. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. We're also going to be considerably cooler down into the 50s. The rain Tuesday, Wednesday through Thursday. 52 by Friday. As you see, we are considerably cooler, and if that's not cool enough, boy, we are going to get even cooler. Saturday down to 47 for the high, evening showers into Sunday morning. We're only going to make it to 41 by Sunday, which I keep saying it because I've got to remind myself too, make sure you spring forward Sunday. And then look at these lows. They go from pleasant to cold as we drop below freezing heading into the upcoming weekend. That's a check your forecast. Here's Carrie Worthen with Consumer Watch.
You'll soon have to pay if you want to travel to the European Union. The European Travel Information and Authorization System will require all non-EU passport holders to get pre-trip permission to enter the EU. That includes travelers coming from the United States. It'll cost €7, which is approximately $7.43 based on Friday's exchange rates, and it will last for 3 years. It was supposed to launch by November of this year, but has been pushed back to 2024. The U.S. has a similar program called the Electronic System for Travel Authorization. That costs $21 and covers a person for 2 years. It appears a popular brand of pop culture collectibles is struggling to sell off a product surplus. Funko acknowledged the problem to investors this week at an earnings call. The manufacturer, known for its vinyl figures and bobbleheads, says its inventory is up 48% compared to a year ago. Funko's warehouse shelves are so full that the company admitted to renting storage containers to house the excess. To deal with additional merchandise, the company says it will eliminate approximately $30 to $36 million worth of it. Funko says it plans to remove all of the unwanted products during the first half of the year. ATMs are on the decline in the U.S. as the U.S. moves towards cashless society. The Wall Street Journal reports they peaked in 2019 with 470,000 machines. Then the pandemic set off a surge in digital payments, and the number began failing. The paper cities, a Euromonitor projection that cash and checks payments will fall to 14% soon. In 2010, they comprised 42% of transactions. Some Americans still rely on cash, and the trend could make it more and more challenging to get it. Mortgage rates are on the rise, cooling the housing market and forcing many buyers to the sidelines. Evan Rodriguez explains why and what it means for your wallet.
This is very nice. House hunters are in a race against rising mortgage rates.
We've definitely been kind of accelerating that timeline.
This week, 30-year fixed rate loans averaged 6.65%, up for the fourth week in a row and up from 3.76% last year, according to data from Freddie Mac.
Every half point the mortgage rates rise, I think that definitely has an impact on what buyers are willing to do, how far they're willing to stretch on home purchase.
Home buying activity is dropping in response. Mortgage applications fell for the third week in a row, sitting at a 28-year low for the second week. The rising rates connected to concerns with how the Federal Reserve is handling its ongoing fight against inflation.
Here's the master.
While the Fed does not set the interest rates borrowers pay on mortgages directly, its actions do influence them.
Housing is actually a big problem now.
Joanne Weiner, associate professor of economics at George Washington University, says a housing bust would mean trouble for the U.S. economy.
Because it's such a big part of the economy and means so much to so many people working in construction, and then all of the shops that go with building communities.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. The first day of spring is a little more than 2 weeks away, but kids in Eagan, Minnesota are hoping that the winter weather lasts a bit longer than that. This is why.
See, one neighborhood dad has constructed a giant snow fort in his backyard, which has become its own community. Alan Henry has a look inside the structure and how it came to be.
I'm kind of a snow engineer now, I guess, just by trial and error.
Brian Anderson has been a fan of snow his entire life, but being a dad has taken it to a whole other level.
I started building kind of snow igloos in the back of the yard a couple years ago, and they evolved into multiple snow forts, and it became like a village.
This year's fort is more than 5 feet tall and 30 feet wide, growing in his backyard almost nonstop since the first snow of the season in November and every snowfall since.
They know what we're going to do next, which is get the shovels and start going to town. And after school, a lot of days, I mean, there'll be 6, 7 kids out here, and I'll be helping out. And usually they'll help for about 3 minutes, and then I'll be working for half an hour.
What started as a fun project in his backyard now requires blueprints, unlocking both Anderson and the children's creativity.
We have 10 different rooms. We have 2 different hallways, kind of going just down the sides of it. We've got windows in each room into the hallways. We have 2 different slides, and each kid has their own room with their own window.
And while it's fun inside the fort, Anderson says the connections can be seen outside of it too.
I want there to be a little neighborhood unity in the wintertime. Like, the kids have so much fun in the summer playing with everybody. Winter, you just forget who your neighbors are, you forget, you know, who your friends are, and this was a way to bring people out.
Anderson says his previous forts have stayed up until May before collapsing.
But that, of course, all depends on Mother Nature. So that's absolutely an impressive undertaking. There was a senior center at 22nd and Jackson, and when I was a kid, they'd plow that parking lot during the snow, and the neighborhood over there, we'd make these gigantic snow forts out of those things. They didn't last for months on end, though, but still, very cool for sure.
I would be inside the fort.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I could spend a while in there.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have any significant snowfall on the way if you're a big fan of the snow, but we do have some rainfall on the way. Mostly cloudy in Joplin. You see the sun trying to light it up, and even with mostly cloudy skies, we've still got a decent day lined up for us ahead of potentially heavy rainfall. We're talking 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches, especially along and south of I-44, as we see a system start to just kick repeated shower and thunderstorm chances all over us over the next few days. So we go into tomorrow morning, say about 9, 10 o'clock, we'll see some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two in southeast Kansas. These will persist through the afternoon and into the evening hours before they eventually clear out by about 6, 7 o'clock. And then 2 or 3 hours later, here comes another round of showers and thunderstorms developing right along Interstate 44 as we head into Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. And then we'll see more widespread showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two out there as well as we head into Wednesday morning. By Wednesday afternoon, we get a pause in the activity with maybe a stray shower or two, and then we'll see additional development as we head into Wednesday night into Thursday. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking good. Here's those cloudy skies in Joplin. We're sitting at 63 though. The south-southwest breeze at 20, gusting to 33. Across the region looks about like this. 55 Iola, 54 Parsons, 63 Miami, 62 Neosho, and 61 in Lamar. And because we had a cooler start to our day yesterday, that's putting us anywhere from 10, 15, close to 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. As you get your day started, we'll still hold on to some of those wind gusts pushing 30 to 40 miles an hour through about 9 o'clock, and then they'll ease up to a 20 mile an hour gust as we head in the late morning and afternoon. And check it out, even though we're mostly cloudy, we're back up to the upper 60s by 11. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden crossed the historic Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama to commemorate the 58th anniversary of the violent attack on black marchers who were asserted their right to vote. In his visit marking Bloody Sunday, the president said the fundamental right to vote remains under assault in the U.S. Authorities in Springfield, Ohio are investigating the second derailment of a Norfolk Southern train in the state of only a month. Officials say there is no indication of any risk to the public health from this derailment. A separate Norfolk Southern train crashed and spilled hazardous materials in East Palestine last month, raising ongoing health concerns for the residents. And crews across Southern California's San Bernardino mountain area continue efforts to plow through snow piles and get supplies to stranded residents. More than 30 inches fell in parts of Northern California as the region braces for another chilly week.
And we've got ourselves a warm day for today. We'll be mostly cloudy, winds gusting upwards of 20. We're looking at highs pushing into the 70s as we go through the afternoon. And our evening will start on the mild side. As you can see, only down to 57 by 8, 54 at 10. But by 8, we start to see the winds pick up, and overnight they shift out of the north, and that allows our temperatures to drop back down to 42 degrees. And as we mentioned, we've got those rain chances building in, and 20 degrees cooler as we head into tomorrow, and we stay that way. Rain chances Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a break on Friday in the 50s through Friday, then down into the 40s this weekend with some additional rain chances Saturday into Sunday. Overnight lows dropping below freezing this weekend as well. And of course, don't forget to spring forward on Sunday.
Does your dog have a face that only its owner could love?
Well, if you answered yes, then you're in luck because the world's ugliest dog contest is once again taking submissions.
The competitor's website says their goal is not to make fun of ugly dogs, but rather to celebrate, quote, the imperfections that make all dogs special and unique.
This year's winner will be crowned on June 23rd at the Sonoma Marin Fair in Petaluma, California.
Not only will they walk away with the trophy declaring them as the world's ugliest dog, they also will get $1,500. If you're interested, make sure you submit your application on the contest website by June 21st.
Now, last year's winner was an almost hairless 17-year-old pup named Mr. Happy Face. I think I distinctly remember that particular pup from the ugliest dog contest last year. So, and by far not the world's prettiest dog, but that's what this is all about celebrating.
Unique.
Very unique indeed. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.